What's up, guys, and welcome back to Gaming News Weekly. This week we got all kinds of stuff, including Xbox news, more layoffs in the gaming space, and Larian Studios being Larian Studios. Before that, though, we got some cool little things to cover. We got hands-on previews for Suicide Squad. Unfortunately, though, they're not leaving a great impression. Now, we'll have to see when the game fully comes out and what it looks like for people when they have the whole opportunity, the whole game, and everything in there. But right now, we're getting the big publications, IGN and GameSpot and stuff, and none of them have very positive things to say. Now, doesn't mean there's nothing positive, but just overall, it's kind of looking a little sour for Rocksteady's new game. Now, let's find out. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what it looks like. Put together full release. But all of that said, unfortunately, Suicide Squad is looking a bit on the rocks. Next up, Helldivers 2 has this really cool kind of Starship Troopers-esque, like, kill bugs on alien planets kind of vibe. It looks actually really cool, even though it's not my typical kind of game. It just has a feel to it, a real character. And they announced that it actually has crossplay with PC. It's going to be a PlayStation and PC only title, and having this crossplay support will mean that you can play with each other no matter which device you get on. Obviously, that's what crossplay is. But that's really good, because when a game gets exclusive like this, there's no Xbox, there's no Switch, then you need to have a way for as many people to play together as possible to keep it alive. And so this is good news if you're at all interested in Helldivers 2. Next up is Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter world spin-off RPG game that came out in the beginning of 2023, has announced that it sold 22 million copies throughout the year of 2023. That is crazy Call of Duty numbers. I mean, big time. Now, it doesn't mean that it's the only game to sell big numbers. Legend of Zelda, of course, sold like 20 something. I mean, might have sold more than this. Okay, we just didn't get that last number. But either way, that is huge numbers from a brand new IP IP-ish, right? Harry Potter obviously has been around, but this is its own thing. Yes, it's in the world, but it's not Harry Potter itself, right? And so to go out on this and sell that kind of number, I mean, that is big deal for WB Games. All right, now let's get to some of the bigger stuff. Let's hit the sour news first. Layoffs have hit the gaming space yet again, and unfortunately will continue to probably throughout at least the first half of this year, if not beyond. And that, to start off, is Unity, the engine who made a bet and lost, right? They pushed this really, really terrible business model that was going to absolutely destroy tons of developers, and they got smacked for it, and deservedly so. But unfortunately, the problem is that it's not the people who made that decision usually who get hit. Although in this case, the CEO did get leave, right? Which is good. But in this case, we're talking 25% of their workforce. We're talking 1,800 jobs. 1,800 people that don't have that income anymore. That sucks, okay? We want the best for those people, and if you guys are watching or listening, or any of you know them, man, nothing but good vibes from me. I hope you guys land on your feet, and best of luck to you. That sucks. That seems a little bloated to me, because that's like 7,000 jobs for a game engine, and I don't know why you'd have that many people. Like, what were they expecting for that? I don't know. But again, that's decisions at the top. That's not the people who are getting fired. That's not their fault. Right? They didn't make that decision. They were working a job, and that's just really sucky. Along with that is Twitch, and Twitch has cut 35% of staff. 35. Oh, a third of their workers are getting let go, which in Twitch's case is about 500. But again, that's 500 people. You put these together, that's 2,300 people out of work. That sucks. And so nothing but the best for you guys. We hope you land on your feet. And I'll certainly keep you guys up to date as we find and hear more about these layoffs and what's happening. I really hope that we can start to right the ship here in the gaming industry and get it balanced and settled so that people can feel safe in their job. There's very little worse than turmoil as to whether you're going to have a job or not, especially if you got family to support, or you're the only one supporting your house, you don't have anywhere to go, all kinds of stories that can belong in there, and you just feel for the people. I don't know how you can't. I mean, really sucky. So here's hoping this all kind of gets worked out. Next up is some really cool news. Just Larian Studios, Swen Vincke is quickly becoming one of my favorite people in the gaming space. He's just as real as it gets. He's fascinating, he's interesting, he's fun, and he announces on X or on Twitter or whatever that he is finished writing Act 1 of their next project. Now, he even says, look, you guys won't see this for quite some time. He says this could change because maybe I think it's awesome and I bring it to the team and they say, no, it's trash. So he's very humble, but that's just very exciting. Larian has proven to be one of the top developers in our day. Between Divinity and obviously Baldur's Gate 3, which has really brought them into the limelight. I mean, these guys are top-notch developers, amazing writers, and Swen is, just an incredible dude. And so, I'm looking forward to anything these guys make. I can't wait to play whatever they're working on. And, him saying he's already written the first act, think of that kind of work ethic, though, right? Baldur's Gate 3 just came out in, September, and they're constantly working on fixes. Now, of course, he's not the one doing most of those fixes, right? He's in the background doing his writing and whatever else. But he's still in charge of managing those and doing all these interviews and PR, trying to push their game. Already done with the first act of writing is huge. There's a ton to this stuff, and they'll have to flesh it out more, I'm sure. But really, really cool. I can't wait to see what they come up with next. All right, and then the last kind of story here is Xbox stuff. Now, this is kind of a two-parter, okay? Xbox games have been rumored to be going multi-platform. There's been a lot of stuff in this space, right? Hi-Fi Rush was rumored to be going multi-platform, right? And then from there, people found, oh, hey, there's this ratings board in Australia who rate it for PS4 and Switch. But then also we found, oh no, that's an old rating from long time ago. And so that has nothing to do with these new rumors. That's a separate thing. However, there's still a lot of credence to these rumors of Xbox games going multi-platform. Some people are upset about that. I don't think that that's something to be upset about. I think that there is real promise here of Xbox picking and choosing games that you do first party for a year or whatever, and then you release it into the third party and give it to PlayStation, give it to Switch, give it to PC, whatever, Steam, all that stuff, and let all the different people have access to it to sell your game more. Phil Spencer has been saying for a long time that their goal is that you don't need an Xbox to be a part of their system. And that's what they're going for. That's what Game Pass is about. That's what xCloud is about. That's what this is about. So don't be surprised if this absolutely comes true and we start seeing some of these games come out, some of their first party stuff. Now, we haven't seen a lot of their first party stuff, but more is coming. Hopefully this year is a huge year for Xbox. If not, next year, between the two, whatever, we should start seeing that push of all of those developers that they bought start to come into those release windows. That is a good thing for the industry. The better Xbox does, the more it pushes PlayStation and Switch and everyone to continue doing better. That's what we want. That is good news. So I actually think it's a good idea. We'll see down the line if that's what happens and if it is a good idea or not, but I think it is. Along with Xbox news, though, they have announced January 18th to be the developer direct for 2024. Now, they did one last year, and that's where they dropped Hi-Fi Rush. They had some pretty good stuff there. Now, they made the mistake of saying it all comes out in the next 12 months, and it did not. But that aside, I actually thought it was pretty well done. And with their little card here, they're teasing, Obsidian. So that's Avowed. Ninja Theory. So that's Hellblade 2. Machine Games, they're working on an Indiana Jones IP. You got Oxide Games, which is a new IP. There's, this room that's this Ara whatever game. I'm not sure about that. We'll see. But they make those strategy type games. So if it's not Ara, it's in that same vein. And then who knows? Maybe there's another kind of surprise or whatever. I don't know that there's going to be another Shadow drop, and definitely probably not one as good as Hi-Fi Rush. That was like top tier Shadow drop. No one knew it was coming, and then it was also a great game. That was super cool. But it's at 12 p.m. Pacific time on the 18th. So we'll be talking about that here. So be looking for that, and I'll cover that direct, but also we can talk about the games they announce and what it looks like and how good they look and whatever. So be on the lookout. We'll be talking about that here. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I like anytime we can get more news in the gaming industry, anytime we can see more games and see what people are coming up with. I think it's fun. It's a fun time. It's good to watch, and I enjoy it. So I hope that you'll join me and we can have a good time looking for new games. All right, this time in the show, I actually want to take a second and shout out, I'm not sure how I say your name, bud, but Scuzoid Melee. This guy, man, you've been commenting on all my videos, watching and being a part, and I just want you to know that I noticed that, and I am so thankful. I appreciate you and all that you've been interacting with me. You're good peeps, and I appreciate it. So, thank you. All right, moving on to games coming out. We got some announcements and some things set up that are coming, which are kind of cool. So, first up, we got Pal World, that kind of Pokemon with guns things we talked about before on this channel, but they announced they had previously kind of set up that they were having a release in January, but nothing, and then they had a little video, and boom, here it comes on the 19th, and it's including Game Pass, which is really cool. If you have that on your PC or whatever, that gives a really good option. So Pal World looks really fun. I'm excited to try that out. I don't know if I'm going to have time right away. I really want to. I might just dive in for a little bit and kind of feel it out and let you guys know. So let me know if that's of interest to you, and I can do that, do a little bit of coverage. But I'm still kind of working that out. The other thing that happened is Smite 2 got announced. Now Smite is kind of a 3D action MOBA. Okay, so it's that League of Legends style game, but in a more up close, third-person action game. And I mean, the truth is, a lot of people really like it. I tried it out for a little bit. That just doesn't kind of fit for me. I don't know how to play those games. They kind of drive me nuts, so I don't do it. But if you like that kind of game, this is awesome. This is good news. That means it's doing well and keep going. So it looks to be a long ways out from now. If you like that kind of game, pay attention, and they'll be announcing alphas and betas and things, trials for people to be a part of, and so you could hop in on that. So pay attention there. Next up it's in the rumor mill, okay, but the rumor has been going around that Xenoblade Chronicles X remake, remaster, whatever, is in development. Now, I'll be honest here, I have expected this to come along for a while, but I don't expect a big remaster remake. If this comes, I'm expecting it to be bare bones port. And I know that's not what people want to hear, and I will be happy to be wrong, right? I will happily eat crow if I'm wrong. But Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of the few games left from that era, and games that need to come over that haven't yet from that Wii U. I mean, just look at what else they brought over, right? They're not doing huge work to them. They're just kind of porting them over. So that would be my expectation, but I could be wrong. Again, I'll be happy to be wrong. But if you've been looking forward to that, I know a lot of people that Xenoblade Chronicles X is their favorite of the series. And if that's you, I'm hoping for you. Crossing my fingers that you get this port, but we'll have to just keep our eyes open and ears to the ground. We'll see what happens. All right, next up, we got some games that are coming out this week. The first one I want to talk about, we've been talking about on this channel. It looks freaking awesome. It's been getting crazy good reviews, and that is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Now, this is coming out the 18th. If you pre-order it, you get it a few days early, but it has been making the rounds in the gaming space. Different outlets have gotten it early. Lots of influencers and whatever, YouTubers and stuff have gotten it early and making their thoughts, and nothing but good stuff is coming out. Right now, it's sitting at an 86 on Metacritic, but, I mean, it looks incredible. So every time I watch gameplay of that, I'm like, holy cow, I want to play this. I don't have time. I'm like, there's so many games, I can't keep up, but that is like moving its way up my priority list. This game looks incredible. It's super awesome, flashy action Metroidvania, and it really sounds like they hit with this one. So if it has any interest to you at all, make sure you wishlist it or keep an eye on it and pick that up when you're able. It looks incredible, and I'm super excited for that. So that's going to be super good. We also got a couple games on the 19th. You got The Last of Us 2 Remaster. Look, I am not the biggest Last of Us fan. I'm not saying it's a bad game, so don't take me that wrong, but like that's just not my cup of tea, right? I don't understand the need for these remasters. That said, I know people who love the game and they are super happy about it. So, if you're happy about it, good. If you are not, then don't buy it and let those other people play it. No need to be salty in the comments, right? Like, have your games, whatever, but not anything I'm picking up. But it is interesting to me that they once again are doing this kind of very close remaster. Also, another essentially remaster is Another Code Recollection. Now, this is Switch only, comes out on the 19th. These are, I'm not sure if they're remakes or remasters, but they're from the DS. Okay, so these are older titles, and one of those titles was on the DS in America. The other one was actually Japan only. It didn't come over here. So if these are games you're interested in, this is a good way to play them now, and they're made up for the Switch. So they're supposed to be kind of like detective, mystery stories. So could be something fun for you to delve into if that piques your interest. It is a full $60 game. Just letting you know. So if you that Switch tax is in full effect. So if you are interested in these games, go for it. It is nothing for me, but I do think it's good for them as Nintendo to bring that stuff that never made it over here. I like that. I also think it's good that they're taking games that are mostly inaccessible now and making them available on current platforms. That is always good in my book. So if that looks good to you, go for it. And this last one is really interesting to me, and I don't know when I'll get a chance to play it, but I never seen it until I looked into it this week, and that is called Howl. It's coming out the 23rd, so technically it will be next Tuesday, so I'll be covering stuff anyway, but I just want to kind of let you know about it, that it's coming out in case it will pique your interest. This is kind of an artsy, turn-based, tactical, like folktale game. Right, it's really interesting. It's got a very unique art style. It's just weird. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, right? But it just looks cool. It looks different, and I think that's a good thing. I think this is exciting. I love that part of the indie space of like what they can come up with and the ways they'll play with visuals and gameplay and stuff like that you just won't see in the AAA space. So something cool, put it on your wish list if you like it. And yeah. All right, next up is the free gaming corner. And we got Game Pass, Epic, Amazon, and PlayStation Plus, the extra, / premium tier. Okay, so I told you that would come out this week, and it did. So here's what we got. Game Pass, you got Resident Evil 2, the remade version, and Those Who Remain are dropping in on Game Pass. That's a good thing, man. RE2 is a huge phenomenon in the gaming space, and this remake killed it. People love this thing. So if that's your deal, you like that kind of game, then here it is on Game Pass, and it's on another thing later. So I'll get back to that. Epic right now is Sail Forth. I kind of mentioned that last week. That's a kind of a weird, cutesy, sailing adventure game. And then you have Love, which is free from the 18th to the 25th. I got no idea about this one. So I kind of looked at it and I don't understand. But it's free, and I always say you should claim them. So grab it. Amazon has this game called Apico, and that's another kind of interesting indie. But again, they're free. Take advantage. Grab your free stuff. You're ever interested, you got a lull, try out some of these indies. It's a good time, okay? Looking into that. So next is PS Plus, extra and premium tier. I told you I'd come back to it, and this RE2 is also coming to this service. So essentially, Capcom is making another push, okay? RE2, that's a good one. You got Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is kind of that offshoot of the Borderlands series. I think that's a good pickup, because it's one I've wanted to try but didn't want to drop the money for. That could be a good option. You got Hard Space Shipbreakers, which is where you're like fixing ships and stuff in space. looks kind of like that Power Wash Simulator kind of vibe, right? It's like one of those games I wouldn't ever think of playing, but then if I did, I'd probably get hooked on it for hours and think, where'd that time go? So, it could be good. You got Lego City Undercover. And, those Lego games are pretty darn good. And if you like them at all, this is one you should play. I've heard a lot of good things. So there's always that. Just Cause 3. Now, this is not the newest one, but I think this is actually the most popular one. So, take that for what it's worth. And then Session, which is a skateboarding game. Now, Session is a little more intense than something like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, right? So I wouldn't go in thinking it's going to be the same arcadey buttons. Like, you got to manage a little bit more. But if you are interested in that, that might be right up your alley. So take advantage of those, guys. Get your free stuff. All right, next is Indie Spotlight. And I told you each week I want to highlight a cool indie that just catches my attention for whatever reason. So make sure you let me know if you've seen something unique and cool. If you're a developer and want to push your game, let me know what you have. Send me something on it, and I'll look it up, and we'll try to get it on here, okay? There's so many indie games. There's no way I'll cover them all, but we got some cool ones. So this week, I want you to take a look at and put on your wish list if it interests you, and that is The Siege and the Sandfox. This is a cool game, right? It's a Metroidvania, stealth, adventure, parkour kind of stuff. It's really interesting that it sounds like a lot of it you're trying to avoid combat rather than killing everything. I think the animations look good, the character looks cool, and the idea of it really captures my attention. So, again, if this interests you, put it on your wish list. That helps the developers out a lot, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Hoping it does well. All right, next is the best story of the week. Help me come up with a better name for this, guys. I don't know what to call this, and best story of the week sounds lame. I need a different title. Anyway, as I was looking, I didn't have as good a last week. If you didn't watch last week, even if you don't watch the whole video, go watch the Gaming News Weekly last week, because there's a really amazing story about Larian Studios and this guy and his dad, and I mean, it's awesome. So I highly recommend going and watching that. I'll try to cut that up and make it short too, so it's a little easier. But yeah, dude, really cool story. Go watch that. So this week, as I was looking, I didn't have a story quite as powerful as that one. And so this week, I just want to highlight Ben Starr's Twitter, or X, profile. If you are in need of a laugh and something good, something to lighten up your day, let me recommend you to Ben Starr. The dude is hilarious. He made a video recently about AI voice acting. He makes hilarious videos all the time. Obviously, he did like a Mario audition and a Link audition that were hilarious. Just go look him up and have a brighter day. Ben Starr is incredible. He's exploded onto the scene with his, acting of Clive in Final Fantasy 16. But the dude is legit. He's a real guy, that down to earth, and he's just hilarious. So absolutely recommend looking him up. It is one of my favorite things to do in the week, and I highly, highly recommend it for you. All right, and that's it for me. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button, as that helps me out a ton. It's really important for all the, YouTube stuff. Also, subscribe if you're new. We got news coming every week. We got reviews and stuff coming every Thursday. All kinds of different content we're covering as much as we can, talking about stuff. I just so appreciate you guys. Let's have a good year. Let me know what you think of the sound. I got a mic, and hoping it does good for things for the sound, but it's going to take me a bit to get it dialed in. So bear with me as I figure it out, but bit by bit, we're going to be improving the show, and it's all for you guys. I hope that it is good. So again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, good hunting.